Most of the men I've talked to over the years have the same issue with their wives. A man's main issues are usually a wife's disrespect and her nagging or her tendency to tell him what to do and how to do it. And I actually have a solution for that. However, only the bravest of men dare say this to their wives in the process. Hello, I'm Dr. Debbie. I've been helping women understand their husbands for more than 2 decades. I love what I do. Many women are eager to learn, and sometimes a woman is in self-protection mode, too anxious and too frustrated to be open to the new mindset that's required for her to make progress in her marriage. My job is to help calm her fears. Hopefully, her husband will join me in that. But he doesn't always do that because he doesn't see the value in it yet. At the same time, I always encourage men to take the lead with confidence and compassion. Many men believe that that's impossible unless their wives are willing to cooperate. It's only natural for a man to go into self-protection mode when he feels like he's being attacked, blamed, and criticized all the time. When he's protecting himself from the verbal barrage, it's really hard for him to adopt the mindset he needs to understand the real power of his presence. Despite what many women believe, a man dreads confrontation. He will avoid it for as long as he can. Then he may lash out or leave. If a man wants to be the leader, he needs a coach, not someone who merely sympathizes with him in his situation. Most guys are good at supporting one another in that way, but it doesn't get them anywhere, does it? They all end up settling for an unhappy life with an unhappy wife. But you don't have to settle. I don't want you to settle for less than the best. But if I'm going to coach you through this, you have to believe I know what I'm talking about. Trust my experience and expertise. Be brave enough to make bold moves. Experiment with the strategies I suggest. Learn what makes your wife tick. Do something different than you've been doing. Then watch how your wife responds to your leadership. In a minute, I'm going to tell you about the bravest thing you can say to your wife and why it makes such a huge difference in your ability to lead, and equally important, her desire to follow you. The problem is you want the conflict to end, for her to stop running over you, to gain her undying respect, especially in front of your kids. You wish someone could fix her. However, I know things will change more rapidly and permanently when you step up and take leadership, or take back leadership if you had it once but let her take it over. How do you do that? Well, it's a simple move from self-protection to proactivity. Yes, simple, but it's not always obvious and it's rarely easy, and that's where I come in as your coach. Let's look at an example. Your wife brings up a problem. She's talked about it before. She sounds bossy and disrespectful. You feel attacked, blamed, and criticized. You can't shut her up, so you try to shut her out. That's never worked, but you're tempted to do it again. The truth is, she is afraid. You don't realize just how afraid and alone she feels. She wonders if you care. Yes, she sounds angry, but she's actually more desperate than angry. She's reaching out to you for reassurance or to give you input. From every indication, you're not listening. You don't hear her. You don't care. So she keeps talking or giving you more and more examples, or even following you when you start to walk away. You have the power to change that by your presence. A word of caution here. If your wife is physically abusive, then you and I need to talk. I say that here because it happens far more often than anyone knows, mostly because men don't report physical abuse. It's emasculating and no one believes you. But Johnny Depp knows the truth, and so do I. You're not alone in that, and you do not have to live that way. But assuming that's not the case for you, try this. The next time your wife gets angry, do something different. I know how easily your brain gets flooded by her emotions. I get it. That's how I know it takes a brave man to do what I'm about to suggest. Turn toward her, look in her eyes, and listen. Do you know what she's talking about? Could you summarize her concern? It's okay to stop her before you get too lost in all of her words. Kindly, gently, sincerely ask, could you pause for just a second? I want to make sure I understand. You're saying or thinking blank because blank. Did I get that right? Let me give you an example. Could you pause for a second? I know you've talked about this before, and I want to make sure I understand the point you're trying to make. You're worried about Billy. He's been getting in trouble at school lately, and you want me to do something about it. Did I get that right? If she says no, ask her what part you got wrong. Listen again, pause again, summarize again. Ask if you got it right. If she says yes, then it's time to say the bravest thing a man can say to a woman, especially when she's emotional. It's just 3 little words. Is there more? Is there more? If she starts talking again, stay engaged. Repeat the steps. Listen, pause, summarize. Ask if you got it right. In other words, be present. Don't leave the room. Remember, your presence is powerful. That doesn't mean you want to come off like a bully. Your power is positive when it's filled with confidence and compassion that creates connection. You were born to be her hero. You can do this. When you repeat these steps, believe it or not, she'll actually talk less. Yes, I know, asking her if there's more, that's what makes it such a brave step, because the fear is she will never stop talking. But a woman who feels heard usually runs out of steam in about 20 minutes. Just wait until she says that's all. Then you have a few options. You can tell her that she made some really good points, that you'll take her input into consideration, and then tell her exactly when you'll get back to her on it, such as tomorrow evening right after dinner. Another option. You can tell her how you plan to address the issue and ask her what she thinks. Now, this is really brave. Remember to repeat the steps if she gives you that feedback. Another option, you can say, I get it now. You felt alone in all of this. I haven't stepped in to find out what's going on with Billy. I'll call the school tomorrow and make an appointment for us to meet with his teacher. It's going to be okay. We're in this together. Hold her as you talk. Comfort her with your touch. Now, can you imagine doing this? Or does it seem impossible? If you feel brave, test it out for yourself and then let me know how it goes. If you're not ready for this yet, reach out to me. Remember, I'm here to help. Okay? We'll see you soon. Take care.